Hello and welcome. This is Awesome Will here, and I was sliding by. So, I just decided that I'd slide on in and drop another video for you. I hope that each and every one of you are pleasant tonight, today, this morning, this evening, etc. It's always a pleasure bringing you new content. I'm going to make this very brief, and I'm just going to go ahead and dive right into the topic that I'm going to be discussing tonight. If you would just lend me your ear, it'll be greatly appreciated. And after giving it some thought, I would like for you to share those thoughts, those very thoughts that you have within the comment section. It'll be greatly appreciated. Your feedback and your commentary is wanted here. I would love to hear from you. Also, be sure to turn on the notification bell so you will be informed each and every time that I deliver a new video for you. Be sure to also like, subscribe to the channel, and share the content. What I wanted to talk to you tonight is, or what I wanted to talk to you about tonight is, why you should focus on people who like you. The secret to building genuine connections. Why you should focus on people who like you. The secret to building genuine connections. I was reminded of a 90s television show that many of us are familiar with, or many of you are familiar with. And this television show is named, or the name of this television show is Family Matters. That was one of my favorite shows coming up as a kid. You always had something to look forward to. And there was also a lesson in each episode. But this episode, or these few episodes, or episodes that aired for a couple of days, there was a specific character, or a specific character role that was played by the same individual. And there was a lesson in this. I always say that you shouldn't have to change who you are to satisfy or please anyone, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get right into it. And I want you to listen, and I want you to give your feedback as I say it, okay? After going over this with you. Now, this character goes by the name of Steve Urkel, okay? And once upon a time, he transformed, and the name that he went by after his transformation was Stefan Urkel. And how he made this transformation was because everyone knew that he was a genius, and he was something like a mad scientist when he created this elixir in which he consumed that allowed him to make the transformation. And this elixir is something that you would call Cool Gene. It was a potion that he created in his laboratory at home that allowed him to transform into someone else. You can consider this transformation as being something we would call an alter ego. Okay? The transformation of Steve Urkel to Stefan Urkel, why Laura Winslow couldn't resist. When you think of iconic 90s television family matters, let's start that over again. When you think of iconic 90s television, Family Matters inevitably comes to mind. This beloved sitcom, which aired from 1989 to 1998, gave us one of the most memorable and unique characters in TV history. Steve Urkel, with his high pitched voice, oversized glasses, suspenders, and signature, "Did I do that?" catchphrase, Urkel became a household name. However, for all his quirks and brains, Steve was endlessly rejected by his long-time crush, Laura Winslow. But then came a twist no one expected. The transformation of Steve Urkel into the suave, handsome Stefan Urkel. In this article, we'll dive into the fascinating transition from Steve to Stefan, exploring the appeal of Stefan Urkel, why Laura found him irresistible, and how this storyline highlighted a deeper discussion about self worth, attraction, and the allure of reinvention. The birth of Steve Urkel, a lovable nerd. Steve Urkel, played by character Jaleel White, wasn't even supposed to be a central character, originally intended to be a one time guest on Family Matters. The nerdy, overly enthusiastic, and clumsy Steve became a fan favorite, turning him into a main character. Urkel epitomized the archetype of the lovable nerd, brainy, socially awkward, but deeply kind hearted and loyal. His love for science and quirky inventions made him fascinating to viewers and sometimes annoying to those around him. But as lovable as he was, Steve was still an outsider in his world, especially when it came to his affections for Laura Winslow. Laura was smart, confident, and popular, everything Steve admired. However, his obsession with Laura was often met with rejection and eye rolling. Very true. Laura simply couldn't see past Steve's quirks and eccentricities to recognize the loyal, caring person underneath. This dynamic played out as a classic trope in many sitcoms, with nerdy characters pinning pinning for the popular girl who initially doesn't see their worth. The transformation, how Steve became Stefan Urkel. To give his character's storyline a new twist, the writers decided to turn the tables on Laura and the audience by creating Stefan Urkel. Through the magic of one of Steve's many inventions, he transformed himself into Stefan, an alter ego, as I mentioned earlier, who was everything Steve was not: charming, confident, and debonair. Stefan had perfect posture, a deep, smooth voice, stylish clothes, and an irresistible swagger that made him instantly attractive. No longer the awkward, clumsy Urkel, Stefan was a man who exuded confidence, sophistication, and charm. This transformation was presented in a humorous yet powerful way, playing into the Cinderella effect. Here was the same Steve Urkel, but now physically transformed into a version of himself that society deemed attractive. In a sense, Stefan Urkel was Steve's fantasy, his answer to the question, what would happen if I could become everything Laura wants? But what made Stefan even more fascinating was that he retained all of Steve's loyalty and affection for Laura, only now wrapped in a more socially acceptable exterior. While Laura Winslow couldn't resist Stefan Urkel. When Stefan first appeared on Family Matters, Laura was immediately captivated. But why was she so drawn to him? Several factors can explain why Laura found Stefan irresistible, beyond just the fact that he was a stark contrast to the Steve she was used to. Number one, physical attraction and the power of confidence. Stefan Urkel was essentially designed to be attractive. He embodied all the stereotypical qualities of physical and social appeal, including stylish looks, confidence, and charisma. Confidence, especially, is universally attractive. Stefan carried himself with a self assuredness that Steve never displayed. Confidence sends signals of capability, security, and self worth, all qualities that attract people on a fundamental level. Number two, the element of mystery. Part of Stefan's appeal came from the novelty he brought. For Laura, Stefan was essentially the forbidden fruit, the alter ego of a familiar face, unlike Steve, who was always eager to please and openly expressive. Stefan carried an air of mystery. He wasn't groveling for Laura's affection. He had a quiet assurance and intriguing charm that made Laura curious. Often mystery and unpredictability add excitement, especially in relationships. Very true. Number three, reinvention and the fantasy of the perfect partner. Stefan represented the perfect partner ideal, which plays into a common fantasy. He was essentially Steve's vision of what he thought Laura wanted in a boyfriend. Did you hear that? What he thought Laura wanted in a boyfriend. By reimagining himself as Stefan, Steve encapsulated an, an aspirational figure that felt romantic and thrilling. Stefan was a reinvention, a mix of an ideal, traits that made him appealing not only to Laura, but also to viewers who rooted for this seemingly perfect couple. Now, the deeper message, looks versus substance. While Laura's attraction to Stefan was initially superficial, Family Matters used the storyline to make a meaningful point. The Stefan Urkel arc wasn't just about a nerd turning cool. It highlighted